Hey everyone, this is Snark with Snark's Domain, and today we're going to be applying some Gelid GN Ultimate, the 4-watt thermal putty. Oh, that's not in focus, is it? This stuff here. So yeah, 30-gram container. There's definitely 30 grams in there because it's under half full, and it's like a similar container size to like the Upsiren Jarapad containers. So yeah. Freeze or Frez 1080p. Hello from Denmark. Well, hello. Hello from Canada. I used to go hunting with a buddy from Denmark back when I lived in Ontario, and we went moose hunting, and yeah, he was a pretty good marksman. They would do like shooting at 300, was it 300 yards with peep sights, which is like similar to iron sights, just more detailed. Nice guy. Barbadolid, yeah, Mike on from the beginning. Success. Yeah, yesterday, or no, the day before, I didn't have the mic on initially at the start of the stream, so I was just talking away, and no one could hear what I was saying, except for myself. I was talking to myself, and you guys were all laughing at me, I bet. Well, I guess you couldn't hear what I was saying, so you thought I was probably just silent. I had a bunch of issues the last few streams. Like, I've got a 4K camera. It's nothing like super high end or anything, but it's like a decent streaming camera. It's a Razer Kiyo Pro Ultra. It's their 4K one. It has a really large sensor, so the image quality is supposed to be quite good, and it previously was. But then I went to a LAN party and came back and went through a couple software updates and firmware and all this stuff, and all of a sudden my quality was just horrible. And I was trying to troubleshoot it. I couldn't figure it out. It wouldn't let me manually set to 4K for the resolution. And that should have been kind of a telltale of like what was the problem. But I didn't figure it out until yesterday. It ended up being a cable issue. Yeah, Canadian Nature is awesome. So Razer cables. I've got 3 Razer cables, like 2 for the keyboard that came with that, and then 1 for this camera. And they all kind of look relatively the same. Maybe you guys can notice a slight difference though. Let's just zoom in. You see the difference in those cables? What do you guys think? Was one a little bit bigger than the other? Definitely. This one here is large. It's like thicker, and I had accidentally hooked this one up to the camera, which is right up here. And yeah, the video was like looking horrible. I didn't know it was a cable issue. I checked the USB port. I made sure it was one of the, I think it was like a 10 gig, 5 or 10 gig gigabit per second port for like to be able to handle a SSD, like a USB A style port, right? And then finally figured out by switching cables, that one, the high quality one, was hooked up to my keyboard. So it was pretty funny that it was just a simple issue with the cable, and it solved a lot of what I thought were software problems, which are always fun to troubleshoot. Fresmont, which thermal putty would you say is the best for price and easy to source? It's not like a super simple answer, because it depends what you're using it on. If you are just doing like desktop GPUs, motherboard VRMs, RAM, what else? NVMe drives, you can get away with like literally any putty. It won't it won't matter on the particle size at all. So then that like opens up your options, and you can, it depends what your budget is, how much putty you're going to buy. If you're a shop, there's a couple putties I would probably recommend. But if you're just using it for personal use and a couple devices, then that you have control over the devices, then you got a lot of options. So if you were doing laptops, I would pretty much just recommend making it easy on yourself and grabbing one of the putties that has like small particles. The best one that currently that has small particles is Houndseye HY236, well, 206 series. The 236 is just the pink version. That's the most accessible online. Most online retailers, I shouldn't say most, but the computer, like the e-commerce focused sites, they all typically have that putty for the most part. What am I doing here? I'm cleaning this thing. That's what we're doing. I've only got a bit of time today. Kind of debated whether I should even do a stream. And then I was like, well, if I apply it, even if I can't do all the processing, even if I can't do a stream tomorrow, at least this one will be crunching away. I can remote in and change the tests, so that's not an issue. So I can, yeah, make progress, even if it's like just incremental, is better than just not making a stream, I think. I could have made one last night, but I was doing some other stuff, so yeah. So I gotta go to work and do a job starting this afternoon, so oh, these are the my old makeup wipes I was using. They're not as nice. They'll work, but they just this putty's actually you know, I will say this, this putty's cleaning up pretty good. Like, it didn't leave much of a mess, right? It's not crazy sticky. It's actually pretty, like, on the tidy side. So that being said, this does have larger particles than the HY236, and we'll see where the performance lands here in a little bit. I know I did a sneak peek of the card. Looks like gross, right? That's because I put conformal coating on. And maybe I didn't clean. Well, it wouldn't stick to this. See, I should just scrape this off. That was probably had like oil on it or something. I might not have cleaned that well enough for it to adhere. Plus, I've cleaned it a few times since. The stuff does wear off eventually after numerous cleanings. But for most folks, that's not going to be an issue. If you're using conformal coating or TG Shield, it's you're not going to be scrubbing this every couple days for testing all the putties. Not that it really needs it while I'm just testing putties, but I like the idea of like bulletproofing the card. This is just isopropyl alcohol, as always, 99%. That's what I use to clean. Get in there with the toothbrush. Oh, I should enable... I'm always forgetting to... This looks like the 10 watt Gelid. It's definitely the 4 watt. Oh, or the stuff I took off. That was the Maxtoor AP-306. So as long as I have Discord open for a while, the chat bubble pops up really quickly and populates, it looks like. It's just if I don't have Discord open, it takes a while, so whatever's going on in the background there, like that one day it took like 15-20 minutes for it to pop up, so. It says it's not like the client will open and complain about the looks, I hope. Yeah, I mean, there's no client here. This is just for testing. I'm just testing all the putties on this card. This is my card. This thing has been opened certainly well over 100 times now, so this is the most resilient Zotac card in existence, with the evidence to prove that it's like survived many battles. See, now I'm just like cleaning off the conformal a little bit, but whatever. When we go back to testing liquid metal, well, it's probably not even going to be on this card. I'll probably be testing all the paste phase change just on test bench 3. I don't think this one's going to be used for core testing at all, so realistically, I don't actually need to put conformal coating on the on this area. I like the idea of having it on the rest of the card for taking a little bit less wear and tear. In my mind anyways, it does. I don't know. I just think of it protecting the PCB a little bit from the constant scrubbing, and maybe holds the little components a little bit better so I'm not knocking them off. I don't think I've knocked anything off this card yet, which is kind of crazy. Your company, okay, refurbishes many graphics cards. I've been using Honda thermal pads, which are great. They're very squishy. Long time. And you recently started using the Putty. I'm guessing either 81 or 65 for the LTP. It's good stuff. But I'd like to find a Putty that is cheaper, yet still good for the more budget graphics cards. Okay. So you've used really great pads from Honda that are nice and soft. And you've used the listing from the archive shows 4 watt like it is green. It is green, Mitch. It's the lighting might make it look gray there, but it's definitely green. Yeah. Random piece of putty. Right on. There you go, little fella. You want to get a budget putty, so you're going to be using, 30 to 80 grams of putty, depending on the card. I don't know if you do any 3090s. Those ones are the ones that use quite a bit. Or if you get like a 3080 Oris Master, it's got tons of pads. All right, you're doing a lot of GPUs. You've got a few different options, man. You could probably contact Caplink and see what pricing they would give you on cartridges of Honeywell HT10000. That's like the best putty in existence right now, by a small margin. Not like a big gap or anything. It's like half a degree better than some of the cheaper ones. But if you buy that in bulk, you might be able to get the price per gram down, and it'd be really reasonable. If you want something that performs on par with Gelid GP Extreme thermal pads, I would probably just get Helmseye HY236, which you can buy by the kilogram on Alibaba. You can contact Helmseye through their storefront there. They've actually got a link to their Alibaba listing on their website, so you can go find that link if you want. It's also on my Discord links channel. I don't know if you're on the Discord at all, but that'd be a good option. It's quite cheap per gram, especially when you buy it in bulk. I was gonna suggest almost getting CX H1300 as a general purpose putty, and you could buy that in bulk too for cheap. The only thing is, I don't think you're going to like it, and you're going to be frustrated by the purchase because you've already used nice soft pads and nice soft putty like LTP 65 or LTP 81. They're both soft and easy to use. I don't think you're going to be happy at all switching to CX. It's way too stiff recently. The original batches were nice and soft, and then something happened in manufacturing and it's no longer soft. And I bought 2 kilograms straight from the manufacturer just to prove that point, that it wasn't like, downpipe, someone changing the product or mixing stuff or diluting it, or, a fake product. I was buying the real thing, and it was no longer as good as it was supposed to be, or originally was. So I'm hopeful they'll still go back and fix that at some point. I think for now I'm done buying CX I'm not going to keep buying to see if like the batch is improved for now. I'm going to wait until, well, I'm going to contact the manufacturer again and excuse me, sorry, kind of just like say, hey, let me know once you've actually, like, this is still an issue, this is what I've done, can you fix it? And if you do, let me know, because I'll retest it, and maybe do a name change of the product, just so we know it's like the new revision, because people don't want to buy the old one that's super stiff when they're trying to buy the soft one. And there's probably lots of resellers still having what the current stuff is. So hopefully they fix it. Would be nice. Yeah, Mitch, I'm going to be definitely testing all 3 versions for sure. I don't really need it. That's a nice spread the first try today. Are we perfectly in focus here? That looks a bit sharper. Mitch, what do you think of the video quality today? Is it looking like it's up to snuff? Hopefully. So we're just using MX4 because it's a cheap, consistent paste I can use on the core for testing. It's not what I would actually use if I was doing GPUs, especially in bulk. You want to buy a bunch of PTM 7950 is what you want to get as a repair shop, because that'd be the best. Let's just put that up there. That'll work. Okay, we got the paste. Let's go for putty. So I've already pre-cut the syringe to 6mm ID, which is what I need for this card's VRAM. And I'm just gonna make sure this is clean. Clean little scoop. Looks like my son is still asleep, which is good. This stuff is almost hand formable. I just, I've already tested this stuff before, if you guys didn't know. But it wasn't called Gelid. It was something else. It was a test sample from Upsiren. So, as far as I know, or for what I'm told, Gelid is getting putty made at the same place that Upsiren or Jarapad is. So that's kind of cool. I'm expecting I already know where this is going to perform, but we're going to test it anyways. Yeah. Hi, sweetie. How's it going? I'm just doing a video right now, okay, honey? But, after I'm done the video, we could probably play that video game again if you want. Yeah, it's your favorite? It's cool. Okay, honey, can you let Daddy do the video? When you're pulling on the chair, it's hard for me to sit. Alright, we're laying down a bead of putty. This stuff's going to be nice for cleaning. Do tactical center. What GPU would 4-watt putty even be ideal for? 200 watts and below. I mean, we don't know how this stuff's going to test. I don't rely on the ratings at all. They're pure marketing most of the time. Like, there's an incentive for them to say, oh, this is, 20 watts per meter Kelvin, but that's like not even possible with, it's mostly not possible with current limitations of grinding powders accurately and consistently fine to a very small size. And that's because how these putties work is there is a carrier fluid. The ones that we mostly use are based on silicone oil, and they'll use, you know, 3, 4, maybe even 5 different sizes or incrementations of particles, and then they're trying to achieve the highest fill rate, basically, of those particles. What have I got to do here? I got to do TGPP10. That's what I got to do. Sorry, let me just get a glove on here. So we can make particles larger, no problem, and that's why you'll see most of the top-end putties are using, you know, between 0.01 millimeters and 0.017 millimeters. That's the typical range of the largest size of particle. And then they'll have, you know, smaller particles incrementing down, and it's usually by a factor of 10. So like each particle size is, you know, like 1/10 the size of the last one. Well, what that forces you to do is go really, really small. But there's limitations on how accurately and consistently we can, well, and economically. That's, you can take things like to a crazy limit, but what's the cost of grinding powders accurately, that fine, consistently, and then like selling it by, you know, the kilogram of that material? That's gets expensive. Like to even be able to sift out and measure, like for quality control of that size, would be difficult at scale while making it cheap. So we're not going to have 20-watt putties anytime soon that are non-conductive. And we don't really want electrically conductive thermal putty, if you ask me. Been there, done that with the TG NSP80, so, which is no longer made. So I feel safe saying that name because it's not something someone's going to go and buy. Okay, let's get this thing back together. We'll do the tilt test. Hey, what do you know? It's still in place. That's great. Alrighty here. Let's get this lined up. Get the screws. Voo. Is there a difference between liquid metals, or doesn't matter which brand? So there can actually be slight differences. I'm not an expert right now on what the comparison of all of them. I believe Thermal Grizzly Conductonaut Extreme is probably one of the current, like, considered better ones or best, but I haven't tested that, so I don't really know. There's a couple things that you can do to liquid metal to, where's my screwdriver? There it is. To boost the performance of it. It's not just the mixture of, what is it, like the gallium, indium, whatever else they put in there. There's additives they can add to kind of like, not dope it, but like boost up the performance. I believe it's aluminum nitride or aluminum. Why is that not threading in? Because it wasn't lined up. And that's why we do these corner ones first, so we get everything lined up before we crank down the core screws. There we go. So aluminum, obviously you don't want to use liquid metal on an aluminum heatsink, because it dissolves the aluminum. It kind of, they mix together and becomes very brittle and weak. But if you take, it's either aluminum powder or it might be aluminum oxide. I don't think it'd be the nitride. I think that'd be more resilient. It'll actually, I think it basically like melts and blends into the liquid metal. And of course, liquid metal has a lower thermal conductivity than aluminum nitride, or aluminum oxide. That's why the LMTG 100, the hybrid liquid metal paste with those ceramic capsules, well, the ceramic capsules, I'm pretty sure, are either aluminum, well, nitride, I guess, because that's the ceramic. Oxide's not a ceramic, so the capsules, the eggshell, is actually performing better than the egg in that scenario. But the liquid metal acts as like a really good liquid interface, whereas the particles, they can't squish into all the imperfections. So like the liquid metal part of it goes into the imperfections, and the aluminum nitride, it must be small enough, of course, and thin enough, acts as a thermal booster. And then I believe it's using what, like a silicone oil as a carrier fluid. So it's kind of like three products combined. Ideally with like the least amount of silicone as possible. If they're even using silicone, unless they're bonding the capsules somehow. A couple different ways they could do it. HYP17 thermal paste is using ceramic. Do any pastes also use ceramic? Yes, definitely they do. There, tons of pastes are going to use aluminum nitride in them. Oh, they already are in putties. Yeah. Do any putties currently use ceramic? Sorry. Yes. Yeah. Putties definitely use the same basic ingredients. Same with thermal pads. You can. I don't have like a, what is it, like a spectrometer that you can figure out what the ingredients are. I don't have one of those, but Igor's Labs does, and he's tested different putties and pastes too. So of the putties that he's tested, you can actually see what his measured ingredients are, not just what the manufacturer claims. So after we do a thermal putty job, as always, we always like to wipe the PCI Express connector. And recently I had a cotton fuzz from one of these stay on this part here. So we're just going to make sure we don't do that, because it was no bueno for a little while. Okay, we've got the card out of the way. Let me just clean up here shortly, or quickly, I should say. And then I'll get my keyboard over here. We don't want to get the bottom of our keyboard all gummed up, so. Now it's possible, since I've tested this putty previously off stream, that the makeup of it has changed. And maybe it's just the color that's similar, and it could actually be like significantly different. I won't know until we get the test rolling. And I'll definitely give you guys like an early heads up on the performance in the Discord later today, once I've, well, not too late because I gotta go soon, but probably before I go I'll take a glance at the screen, see what it's doing. Gotta tidy up my cords, they've gotten a little bit jumbled up with all the shuffling of things. Okay, that's gonna go there. All right. Let's minimize that. Minimize that. Bring these ones up. And we're gonna go to start processing the data on the Maxtoor AP-306. Actually going to turn off a couple of these lights that are kind of obnoxiously bright for me sometimes. This one ran for a little longer than usual. It's like 18 hours or something like that. Just cranking away at 310 watts, no big deal. So now we're going to move my standard calculator sheet over to each one of these. Then we're going to grab that, escape, click, select all, Control F for find, hit the replace. Replace that with data. And that basically writes this, well, this is like every hour, right up to 24 hours. And this is the actual data every 2 seconds. And then these charts run off of this. That's why there's 189,976 replacements for all these here. And then it pops up a chart like that, which allows us to do quality control and see if anything went wrong. We could check voltages on the 12 volt rail, make sure the fans are that 2592 average. I guess I should put that 2592 there. I'll do that another time. We click up here, Control F. Need a faster processor and maybe some more RAM. Yeah, so my min run time is always 2 hours. I'll at least run it for that long. And sometimes it runs a little longer. Oh, and this is where, did I click that already? Pretty sure I did. Yeah. Yeah, we can use hour number 2 is nice and clean. That's good. You see this very consistent zigzag? That's the jump of 2 degrees. Maybe a bit more than 2 degrees. It's interesting though, it's very stable. Delta VRAM, yeah. That's interesting that it's on the core too. So consistent. It must have just been really consistent temperature hovering that little bit. Anyways, we are going to grab hour number 2. So actually, let's take a look how stable it was. 5582 for average, but we're using hour number 2. VRAM, let's go over here. Pace values. This is Maxtoor. Actually, I gotta figure out which store I got that from. I think it was like a Maxtoor or something store on AliExpress. Oh, I just hit Control Cut instead of copy. Remark. One thing I don't like about this Remark test, and we can't change it now. We have to stay with the test methodology, at least for test bench 2.1. It's going to change a lot when we go to test bench 3. But is that if you look at Remark testing, here's my wattage here: 286.64, 288.21. I guess it could be lower initially from the start, but it fluctuates more for Remark testing, and we can see that in the VRAM charts. If I go to Remark here, just for a moment, 286, 284, 281, 285, 287, 288, 289, 281, 297, 297. Hold the boat. 297. Let me just... I didn't see that before. It's 10 watts more. I'm probably gonna have to... Man. 297. I'll probably have to retest that one at some point. Just on Remark at least, because the wattage is like significantly higher. Random. Anyways, I will grab the one for Kapow, sorry. So here, let's just see how stable this was, what the average was over 18 hours. 65.76. But as always, we're gonna grab hour number 2 because there's no mining errors or anything, so. What are your guys' thoughts? For test bench 3, what I was thinking of doing for the standard test, and it's going to sound like overkill, but hear me out. I was just going to do 1 test, not 3. Maybe I'll do 2 tests, but the first test is just to figure out the performance of the VRAM, and the second test is just to make sure that core contact hasn't been become an issue. So I was thinking of testing it for like 12 hours or something like that. Now it seems overkill, but what that would let us do is do like the first hour of warm up. Let's say, like as an example, this is always warm up hour, even though it's pretty stable after 15 minutes, right? You can see here, this is 1 hour time span, so it's half hour. Even after 5-10 minutes, it's like pretty flat line for the delta. But we're gonna always give it an hour of warm up, I think. Maybe I'd do half an hour, but then having like 12 hours of data and averaging that out with arguably much more accurate sensors too, so there's not even going to be as big of a fluctuation. The problem with this one is that the resolution is 2 degrees, like most video cards, and the only cards that I know of that have a 0.01 degree resolution for VRAM T-Tilt or for VRAM are the AMD 6000 series. So look at this. You guys are looking at this number and saying, like, oh, it's got a couple decimal points, right? Well, that's averaged out. GPU memory, 50, 50. 60, 62, 64, 66, 72. You didn't see a 5 in there as the second number. You definitely didn't see any decimal points. So, yeah. Let's see how... Sorry, I've been yammering on. You guys just want to know how this stuff does. So we are going to figure that out. We're going to do etc hash putty. Maxtoor AP-306. These charts are becoming really cumbersome to the full ones, which I already knew, but I have to switch to, probably a PDF of the full charts, maybe. I don't really want to go PDF, but we might have to go that route. Okay. I'm getting distracted now. Slows me down. I had a heart attack there. I thought my work phone was ringing and I was going to have to end the stream really quick. Or at least go on mute for a few minutes. So I got to leave in, what, 2 hours? Just under 2 hours from now I got to go. Got to go to work. 65.1. So this was 057. This one is 079. 65.1. So it's going to go right above iceberg. Mark 52.5. So there's another 52.5. That one's 0.452. And this one's 0.473. So it's going to go after the 452. Not that it's that accurate. 52.5. All right. I think we kind of see where this is going to hit. The most accurate one is always this chart because it's not core intensive, so it takes one variable from thermals out of the equation. You know, as consistent as I try to be with the paste, it can have slight fluctuations. 55.6, so that goes right there. Well, I gotta double check, but I'm pretty sure what we measured the other day, and I gotta do the particle sizes on these and then update, obviously. But this one's got a 0.05. So, and it's, you know, 1 degree. Excuse me. It's actually, that's better than what it had previously tested as, to be honest. So it is different. They did make adjustments. It is slight. It's got to be different. That's interesting. Now it's still not at this level, but it's really close. It's only 1 degree. That's previously I was having this, and it's, well, I'm assuming it's the same or similar as the test sample I got from Upsiren to test out before. But yeah, obviously it's different enough. Maybe they went for a higher fill rate. Either way, that makes me want to go back and test the sample that I've got. Maybe we'll take a look at, see if I can find that here. Okay, but I will update those charts. Let's go to, get some lights back on. We'll switch to the camera view. I'm just going to move this guy. disable the screen. Okay, let me just grab. That's right, we got some jar pad. Okay, this stuff. Oh. Right. I got these cool storage bins that make it easier to, I mean, oh, different threads. Okay. Anyways, this stuff and this stuff. Oh, I'm missing one light. There we go. Let's get zoomed in here on these. I added a couple shortcut keys for the 4 different zoom levels and figured out how to bind those to my Razer keyboard using the Synapse app. Well, I didn't figure it out. I googled it and then figured out that it was a thing, but I don't have enough of this one to really do a lot of handling. But let's get a glove on anyways. I just want to see if they. Okay, so in this finger, I've got the Gelid, and in this finger I've got the. Which I've got to get the focus figured out here. Let me just grab this. I'm just gonna go. That's not. Just a sec. Yeah, I'm not getting those in focus, but they look really. Man, the focus is. It's hard to do with my left hand. I'm sorry, guys. I'm struggling here. They're really, really similar color. So, yeah. We're going to put this one where it came from back in the Gelid as much as we can. And put that stuff in there. Very similar feeling, similar color, similar containers, and I was already told that they were going to be making the Gelid stuff at the same factory, so same as far as I'm concerned, but different because it actually performs better than the test sample previously did, and the test sample was particle size of 0.05 millimeter. So, guys, I think that's it for today. I've got to go do a few things, go to work, that kind of stuff. So thanks for tuning into the stream, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Snarks Domain, out.